stop. What if the only thing keeping you small is the life you accepted? Not because you had to, but because you never questioned it. And what if one man refused to accept it and changed everything? You're not trapped. You're just living below your potential. And Ragnar proved it. The life you're living might be a smaller version of what you were meant to become. You don't need permission to become powerful. You just need to stop thinking small. What if the life you're living is smaller than the one you're meant to conquer? Not safer, not easier, smaller. And the worst part? You accepted it. Because most people don't fail, they settle. Before Ragnar Lothbrok became a legend, before his name echoed across kingdoms, before fear followed his shadow, he was just a farmer, not a king, not a warrior, not a conqueror. A farmer, working the same land, living the same life, following the same rules, and that's exactly what made him dangerous. Because Ragnar didn't fear battle, he feared limitation. While others accepted the world as it was, he questioned it. Why go east when there's an entire world to the west? That question separated him from everyone else. Because most people don't explore, not because they can't, but because they're told not to. And over time, they believe it. But Ragnar didn't. He listened to stories, watched the horizon, studied the sun, not as a dreamer, but as someone preparing. Because vision without action is useless, and action without vision is chaos. Ragnar had both. But here's what makes this powerful. The system didn't support him. Leaders rejected him, mocked him, ignored him, because new ideas threaten old power, and Ragnar's idea was simple but dangerous. Go where no one has gone. So he built his own path, a new kind of ship, faster, stronger, capable of crossing open ocean, not because it was safe, but because it was possible. And that's the difference. Most people wait for permission. Ragnar created it. He gathered a small group, not an army, not a kingdom, just men willing to risk everything. And together, they did what no one else dared. They sailed west, into the unknown. No guarantee, no certainty, no return plan, only belief. And that's where power begins, not in control, in commitment. They reached England, unprepared, unpredictable, unstoppable, because they weren't fighting for survival. They were fighting for expansion. And expansion changes everything. Ragnar didn't just raid. He adapted, he observed, he learned his enemies. Because real power is not strength, it's understanding. And that's why he kept winning. Not because he was stronger, but because he was thinking differently. While others followed tradition, he created strategy. While others reacted, he anticipated. And that made him something rare, unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. But power has a cost. The more Ragnar rose, the more enemies he created. Not just outside, inside. Because success exposes something dangerous. Jealousy, fear, betrayal. The same people who followed him began to question him. Because power changes perception. And when people can't understand your vision, they resist it. Ragnar lost allies, lost battles, lost control. But he never lost something more important, his identity. Because Ragnar wasn't trying to be accepted. He was trying to become, and becoming requires sacrifice. He became king. But even that wasn't enough. Because Ragnar didn't want a title. He wanted legacy, and legacy is built through risk, through failure, through persistence, and eventually, through consequence. Ragnar made a mistake. He underestimated his enemies. He trusted the wrong moment, and he was captured. Not in battle, in weakness. And that's where the story changes. Because anyone can be powerful at the top, but true power is revealed at the end. Ragnar was taken, imprisoned, broken, thrown into a pit of snakes, a slow death, a certain death. And in that moment, most people would collapse. Fear, regret, silence, but not Ragnar, because he understood something deeper. Death is not the end. It's the final statement. And what you say in that moment defines everything before it. Ragnar didn't beg. He didn't apologize. He didn't fear. He spoke, calm, controlled, certain. If I die, my sons will come. Not a threat, a certainty, because Ragnar's power was never just his strength. It was what he created, a mindset, a legacy, a force that continued without him. And that's real power, not control in the moment, but influence beyond it. Ragnar died, but his impact didn't. His sons conquered, expanded, destroyed kingdoms, and his name became immortal. Because in the end, Ragnar didn't just change his life, he changed what was possible. And that's what makes him dangerous. Because his story forces a question. Are you living within limits? Or are you accepting them? Because most limits are not real. They're inherited. And the moment you question them, you step outside the system, just like Ragnar did. And that's where everything changes. Because the world doesn't belong to those who follow it. It belongs to those who redefine it. And if Ragnar proved anything, it's this. You don't need permission to become powerful. You need courage, because in the end, the most dangerous thing Ragnar ever did was not conquering lands. It was refusing to stay small. And now, you're faced with the same choice. Stay where you are, or go beyond it. But understand this. Once you leave the limits behind, there's no going back.